It has happened again. It has happened again. Yes, The Last Guardian has been delayed. That rolls off the tongue really well. Wow. Um, Damn. Well, hey, who am I kidding? I'm fucking pissed. I'm ranting and raving here. Ooh, sorry, YouTube drama not allowed no more. Fuck that. I'm pissed. No, alright, so listen. Here's the thing with delays, okay? This thing is in its own little scenario here. But let me explain, okay? I'm pretty vocal about delays, meaning I'm usually for them because here's the reason why. A bad game comes out and it's always going to be bad, all right? A rushed game. And people are going to rant and rave. You know, you released a buggy game, you released a broken game, our hard-earned money, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they come out with patches. Sometimes it fixes it. Sometimes it does diddly squat. A game that's delayed and finessed and fixed theoretically should come out better. You know, a delayed game is a bad game is always bad. A delayed game could be better, could be fixed. So I'm always for that. Hey, listen, you want to delay a game to fix it? You be my guest because you take whenever you have to put that game out because I want to go and with my $60 or whatever and buy that game and have the game be good. So take your time with it. That tells me that the developer, the people, the company is, they care about their product. That's awesome. You know what I mean? Some of the classics, took a long time to come out. They came out, they were good. We remember them today. We'll be talking about them for years to come. We're talking about The Last Guardian for years. So I compare The Last Guardian to a different scenario, meaning Final Fantasy. And I gave Final Fantasy the benefit of the doubt because this really compares to Final Fantasy. Here's Final Fantasy 15 that's been in development for years, literally years, and here they are giving themselves a few weeks to get the game out. Here we are, The Last Guardian, been in development for 8, 10 years, 7, 9 years, whatever it is. The PlayStation 3, you were supposed to buy a PlayStation 3 so you could own this game. People were literally going out and buying PS3s once this game was revealed. Trust me, I remember it. I was one of them. Oh my god, I gotta get this game. Alright, so that goes to show you. Same thing with Final Fantasy. This got delayed a few weeks. So, the whole thing with Final Fantasy people were saying was, you had years to work on this game. What's a few weeks going to do you now? And I like to compare it to The Shining. You've had your whole life to think things over. What's a few more, you know what I mean? It's like Jack Nicholson going up the stairs with Shelley Duvall. And I made a joke about that and people were cracking up, but it's really true. And I even said about Final Fantasy, stop, crucifying them to the cross. Let them fix their game. But I also absolutely understand why people are upset because, okay, if Titanfall 2, if Dishonored 2, if Watch Dogs 2 announced that they got a delay, you would feel there would be people upset, but I would be the one in the corner that would say, that's awesome. You want to fix your game. You want to make sure the game is good. That's good. You're not looking for the buck. You're not looking to release it and rush it. Awesome. I'm that guy. But this is different. Here, you really did have X amount of years to work on this game. I mean, back in the PlayStation 3, E3s ago, okay? And then so that small amount of time, what are you going to do in those extra weeks? So instead of coming out October, it's coming out what? December 6th? Same with Final Fantasy. Instead of coming out September, it's coming out the end of November. These are two games that had massive... I said 4. 2. These are two games that had massive delay. In production, in development, in gaming, we call that development hell, like Duke Nukem Forever, which is why we're always worried. Which I didn't have a problem with that, but I'm not going to get into that because that's a whole different situation. Please, don't get me started on Duke Nukem. Hail to the king, baby. That's all I got to say. But anyway, so you had all that time. Again, like with The Shining. What's a few more minutes going to do you now? You know what I mean? As soon as possible? It really is. And I even defended Final Fantasy 15, and I still do, and I still defend this game. You know, you can never fault a developer for wanting to fix their game. But you gotta think, what the fuck, man? What, you know, you mad bro. You know, just saying. You know, all the fucking sayings on YouTube and the internet that I can't stomach. You know? You gotta say to yourself, what the dealio? WTF? OMG. You know? I was once an explorer like you until I took an arrow to the knee. I mean, seriously. So, who knows? Hey, listen. I'm going to give both games the benefit of the doubt. If they come out, they're great. That's awesome. But you got to wonder. You got to wonder. And, you know, and you got to think, too, even with Final Fantasy, the end of November, I think November 29th, this is like December 6th or something. You got to think that late in the game. Are they just going to delay it again to 2017? Because 2017 would be the next delay. It's right around the corner. Even if they said January, though. Even if they said January, what is that going to help them? Now, we don't do... And I love to listen to these YouTubers about how they know everything. And you're not a developer, you know? I mean, I took, you know, gaming development for about 5 years in college. I did a lot of animated skits. I worked on a lot of 3D modeling. I could only imagine what a giant team has to go through. We don't know. Is it small things? Maybe it's small things. Maybe, just maybe, we're over-exaggerating and it has been years in development and it's pretty much polished, but they don't want to release it with small minor things that a patch could fix. Now, that's the benefit of the doubt. Now, so, say frame rate issues, which, you know, loading times, corrupted saves. These are things that I'm thinking of off the top of my head that a patch could fix. So you're saying, well, they're going to release it a few weeks so they don't have to do the patch, so that they fix it in the game. But you know what, though? You can bet your boots that when The Last Guardian comes out with the delay and the Final Fantasy 15 comes out with the delay, they're still going to have freaking day one 10 gig patches. That's what I'm saying. Like, in my life, I've experienced cartridges. I've experienced where you got home with your Super NES cartridge and you stuck it in and you played. This is not that era. That is an era of the past. That's gone. Those memories are gone. This is the day where you bring home your disc or your digital and you can't even play it day one. You have to sit and wait 10 hours to download a 20 gig patch. That's what it is. I haven't had a game yet that I bought for these new systems that didn't have that. Not one game. So you're thinking, well, they're delaying it so they don't have to worry about a patch. You're still going to get the patch. Then you have to wonder, what did they fix in those last few weeks? And also, what is this patch fixing? A patch to fix a patch that they already included in the game from delaying it? And so it's nothing game-breaking, because if it was game-breaking, what's a few weeks going to do? Sure, they have these massive teams, but come on. A game that's been in development for 8 years or whatever, what is 3-4 weeks going to do? It's mind-boggling. But you know what? Like I said, we can't really say because we're not developers. We're not in the studio. But what we can do is we could buy the game when it comes out, and then we could officially review it and say our say. You know, these people, Xbox people with The Last Guardian. Oh, that game sucks. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be like No Man's Lie. It's going to be horrible. Okay. I'll take that criticism once you sat and played with it. Once you said, you know, I gave it the benefit of the doubt. I played the game. I hope they're awesome. I hope Final Fantasy 15. In no way am I doubting that Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian. And again, I'm using Final Fantasy 15 a lot here because it's really in the same boat. Both games have been in development for years and years, and both games that got a few week delay. Okay? So we're not just talking about regular games here getting delays for the first time. We're talking about games that have been in development for X amount of years. So, in no doubt, am I saying that Final Fantasy 15 and The Last Guardian isn't going to be a good game. They're going to be good games. Trust me. I'm here now saying that you could go back to this video once the games are out. I'm positive these games are going to be good. Will they be masterpieces? Will they be great? I hope so. I'm not one of these people on YouTube or one of these big YouTubers or one of these people that make rant videos. You can go back. I don't make these videos all the time. Unless I'm very passionate and I feel that it needs to be addressed. And if a lot of my viewers ask me, and they did. They begged me for this. And I did have strong feelings about it. You know, there's some YouTubers out there that, oh, I can't wait for something to happen. I got to go make a video. I got to go monetize it. I got to go make money. I'm not one of them. Okay? Who knows what I'm going to do the next one. But this is something that I feel has to be addressed. And again, I am for delays. I am for delays of developers that want to really make their games good. So when we spend our hard-earned money, you know, we're getting our bang for our buck. But you got to wonder, you do have to agree, a game that's been in development this long, what is a few weeks going to do? Again, I go back to that Shining reference. And it's really interesting because, you know, these are things that you wonder about when you get the retail game. Now, can these games become the next The Last of Us? Can these games become the next Borderlands, the next Fallout? Absolutely. Can Final Fantasy 15 be mind-blowing? Could one of these two games be my game of the year? Absolutely. Absolutely. Are they going to be at least honorable mentions? Absolutely. Absolutely. But, could there be a flip side to that, and they come out really bad? I'm more so, in the worst case scenario, saying that they're good games. 6, 7, 7.5 out of 10s. Could they be 9 and 10s? Sure. We're not at liberty to say. I'm hoping for the best. I'm one of these, like I said, YouTubers that's positive. There's a lot of these YouTubers that love to be negative. Oh, the game's failed. The game is done. We don't know that yet. We don't know that. You know, Shuhei Yoshida, I seen it in his face. He was upset to announce the delay. And he's not upset really so much to announce a delay. People do that all the time. This is a game that's been in development forever. I mean, literally, go back. Forever. And there's things that they could have did. I always think to myself, you know what? They could have did it a different way where I don't think people would be as upset. What they should have did was, last year was the reveal that it was coming out, that it was going to see the day of light, because I think around 2012 they pretty much closed the books and said, you know, either we got to start from scratch or whatever, but this game is dead in the water. Okay. Now, last year it was an ongoing joke. I remember when I used to do my podcast, when I used to go on other YouTubers' channels and we used to bullshit, and I used to talk with my friends, and it was an ongoing joke. They're going to mention The Last Guardian. Even Greg Miller used to say they're going to mention The Last Guardian. They're going to mention The Last Guardian. Even went in the days before Kind of Funny when he was with IGN. We used to joke on Twitter, me and him, back and forth. We used to joke on YouTube. They're gonna announce The Last Guardian. It became a joke, and when they finally did last year, people were blown away. I was. That was the highlight of last year's E3. Just knowing that this game got revived and is being worked on. So that's awesome. Now, when they announced this year that it was going to be October, I think it was October 25th, that's where they fucked up. Here's what they should have did. And they didn't have, if they did this, they wouldn't have had to announce a delay. They would be announcing the release date and people would have been flipping out. All they had to do was say, holiday 2016. That's all they had to do. And then when they said December 6th or whatever, people would have been happy. The way they announced the delay could have been the way that they could have announced the same information that would have made people go ape. That would have made people love it. But because they gave a definitive date and couldn't meet that date, now they have to announce December as a delay, when they could have announced December as the release date and just originally at E3 said, holiday 2016. That's my personal opinion. I'm not in PR. I'm not in the developer. I'm not in their management. You know, I'm not their publisher. But there's such thing as common sense, you know? It's like what I always refer to as Google. You know, Google says, "Oh, we hire these Ivy League, college students," and YouTube has the best. They're disgusting people. Everything they do destroys the channel, destroys the service. They're terrible. But because they're these elitists that are so high above everyone else, they think that whatever they do is gold. So somebody could have suggested that to who's ever in charge of this. Somebody could have said, just say how. That's why you gotta admit, Nintendo, they're geniuses at a lot of stuff that they do. They get criticized for a lot, but they always say certain things like holiday. So no matter what, you have that window to give a release date, and when you do have that definitive release date, you could say it. But because they pulled October out of wherever they pulled it from, and I understand, they must have been confident. Everything must have looked really good. They must have been going back. They must have said, "Ooh, this ain't going to make it. This ain't going to cut it. Now we got to announce it as December." When if they announced it as holiday, they would have got away with it. That's not coming from a genius. That's not coming from a professional. That's coming from logic. Anybody could tell you that. And I've always said that. I always find it interesting. The people that announce things as holiday, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, they've probably all been delayed, but you guys don't notice it because they never gave a definitive release date. My opinion. Just to address a couple questions that people had, because people had this question, and it's not just a question that I've been getting. What is the hype? Why are people treating this like the white unicorn? Why are they treating this like this is the golden trophy of life? Why are they treating it like this is the freaking, Valhalla? I think it's because, first of all, I think it's very highly regarded because of its connections in the development team with Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, which are highly regarded, okay? And the whole thing with the creature, with the bird dog, it's very cinematic when you see it. It's very captivating. They're very good at marketing it. A la No Man's Sky, The same thing. Now, do I think that hurts the game in the end? It does, because here's the problem. I talk about No Man's Sky, but I also talk about, going back to music, Chinese Democracy by Guns N' Roses. Anybody that remembers that knows exactly what I'm talking about. Something has been delayed for so long. When it comes out, whether it's a movie, whether it's a music album, whether it's a video game, things are highly criticized. They're held to the cross because they're under a fine-tooth comb with a magnifying glass because of that reason. And what happens is, when a game like this does come out, they want it to be a 10 or 0. There's no in-between. They want this game to be a 10. That's not reality. And I don't think that you should fault the album, the movie, or the game because of that. I think what you should do is you should review the game as it is. If it's a 7, it's a 7. If it's a 6, it's a 6. If it's an 8, if it's an 8. If it's a 10, it's a 10. Doesn't matter. It shouldn't be a 0 or a 10. You shouldn't do that because the game is so hyped and in development for so long. You have to review the game. It could be a good solid 8. It could be a good solid 7. That's my opinion, and I really truthfully believe in that. I always stuck with that. As a reviewer, I know a lot of these YouTubers call themselves professional reviewers. You have to really understand that. And you know what? That's the same thing with No Man's Sky. And hey, the developer could be completely, guilty of this. Peter Molyneux. All right, think about all these things that we've seen in the past, how they turned out. They could also overhype it. The media could overhype it. The media could overhype it so much that the developer has to go with it, has to follow along. And the game comes out, and it's critically panned because of that reason. Because they need it to be a 10. In people's heads, people think The Last Guardian has to be a 10. Not necessarily. It could be a good game at a 7. It could be a good game at an 8. They want it to be a 10. They did it to No Man's Sky. They did it to Duke Nukem Forever. They did it to a lot of games that have been... They're going to do it to Zelda. They want it to be a 10 out of 10. That's not the reality of it. So that's my opinions. That's what I think about the delay. I'm positive. I'm hoping it's going to be a great game. I am absolutely looking forward to I'm just going to say The Last of Us. The Last Guardian. I hope this game is awesome. I can't wait to play it in December. The good thing about it is that my December will be, other than my holiday vlogs and my holiday specials, this will be my game that I play throughout the holiday. Is that good in a way because they're not getting it lost in the rush with all the other releases, notably in October, November? Maybe, but I always thought that if you're going to do that, they should have released it early, like September, because then people aren't broke after Broketober, as I like to call it, in November, and they'll say to themselves, kind of like Recore is now, even though that's a $40 game, but still, I'm going to buy it now because, there's nothing else to buy. I'm going to buy it now and worry about the big games later on. I'm going to buy this now. By putting it at the end, it could go either way. Me personally, because December's usually a dead month. It's usually October, November is the hot months, I call them. You have a couple Nintendo titles coming out, but this is its own thing. Here's what I think about this game, what's good about it. People that bought it, people that want to buy it, are going to buy it no matter what month it comes out. And I don't really even think that this would get lost in the shuffle if it did come out in October or November, because this is a high-profile game. I think other games would get lost in the shuffle because of this. This is a really highly regarded, anticipated game. So I think it's going to do fine. I'm optimistic about it. You're going to see me play it firsthand with you guys, raw, unedited gameplay. I'll be checking it out on Murray and J08, and hopefully I enjoy it. That's my thoughts on the delay. I hope you enjoyed that special impromptu vlog. It would behoove you to check out all the rest of my videos on my channel. I've been doing this since, the beginning days of YouTube. I've been actually doing gameplay since 2008. I've been doing it, back in the day with a camcorder. We all use direct capture now. We've got with the times. I stream now. I'm on Twitch. Twitch.tv/MurrayNJ08. You can follow me on Twitter at SeanMurrayNJ, where I'm very vocal, up-to-the-minute schedules on here. You can always find out what I'm doing. We do old, we do new. We don't worry about, release date coverage. We go back and play old stuff. There's no Patreon here. There's no paid to play. Everything is 100% free. This is a hobby. This is a YouTube channel that I do on the side for my main photography business. And I do it for you. I do it for the viewers. And I hope you enjoy the content, as I will keep continuing in the future to make it. Thanks for joining me today on this video. I hope to see you again on the channel soon. Bye-bye. Straight